And as we got through the Great Recession, the GFC, everybody started noticing that self-storage was somewhat recession resilient, right? So more and more money flowed into the industry. So what we saw most recently with COVID and everybody seeing how well the asset class was performing started developing heavily. Now, generally, like I know, like Chris Burnham would always say with Storage Mart, he would always say, if you can see a Walmart and smell a McDonald's, it's a good site for self-storage, right? That's his old adage. Well, I agree, but you don't want to stick it back behind the Walmart at the end of a cul-de-sac with no visibility. But that's what people did, right? Because every site started to make sense during COVID and coming out of the COVID era, right? So when rents and occupancies are at record highs, I can plug into models and man, this is insane. I can't believe I'm saying this is a great site for storage. I'm guilty of it. We all were. And people invested millions of dollars to build sites in these locations where they probably shouldn't have built, and overbuilt in markets that should have never been overbuilt. People weren't cautious. Caution was thrown to the wind, and everybody just started throwing all this money in. Well, with this oversupply, nobody, I don't know, the majority of facilities are not hitting their pre-development projections, right? So when you take out a loan, when you take investors' capital, you're providing, your blue sky documents, all these projections, right, of what the facility will do, and very, very few are hitting close to those numbers, right? So bankers, investors, there's a lot of people out there that would love to find an off ramp, right, to get their capital out. But the sponsors of these deals generally are underwater, right? So there may be enough capital in the deal to pay the bank. There may be enough to get your pref equity out of a deal, but the sponsor doesn't get their money out until they hit a number. And at this point, we're not seeing anything close to those numbers. So the sponsors have no incentive to turn around and sell. Although the capital, the banks, et cetera, they are looking for an off ramp. They want out of the deal. But, I think the banks learned a lot during the GFC, punting on deals, giving people a little bit more time. Time heals a lot of wounds.